everyone. Today's practice is a practice about fear and how our yoga practices can help us manage fear. Fear and anxiety often go hand in hand as well. So there are certain poses that can help us feel more empowered and stronger in ourselves so that we can work with fear. I'm just going to read a couple things to you before we get started. What happens in the brain when we feel fear? So the fear reaction starts in our brain, spreads throughout the body to make adjustments for best defense or flight reaction, right? So our body's preparing to fight or to flee. Starts in a region of the brain called the amygdala, right? So this is kind of like our primitive reptilian kind of brain. So this part is dedicated to detecting emotional stimuli and how much something stands out to us. So it activates whenever we see a human face or with an emotion, particularly if we notice anger and fear, right? So fear and anger can be contagious in that way, so we're going to react to what we see. So as a threat stimulus, such as the sight of a predator, triggers a fear response in our amygdala, which activates areas involved in the preparation for motor functions of fight or flight. It also triggers the release of stress hormones, and our sympathetic nervous system kicks in. This also leads to bodily changes that prepare us to be more efficient in danger. The brain becomes hyper alert. Our pupils dilate, our bronchi dilate, our breathing accelerates, heart rate and blood pressure rise. Blood flow and stream of glucose to the skeletal muscles increases. And organs that are not important for our survival start to slow down. So it interferes with things like our digestion. So this practice is going to help us feel more grounded and empowered in ourselves so we can work with that fear. So for many of us, we're working with this low-level fear right now, where we're not quite sure what's going to happen, and that can just create a constant state of low-level anxiety and stress and fear in our bodies. Tend to kind of hike our shoulders up a little bit, maybe close off and be protective in our bodies. So we'll work on some warrior poses today and a few other poses that can help bring that sense of empowerment and being in control of our own self, our own lives. So we're going to start sitting. Won't need a whole lot of props today, perhaps just like blanket for when we are sitting, blocks perhaps if you have them, but mostly we won't need a lot of props in our practice today. So go ahead and get comfortable sitting, maybe rock side to side to widen out our sit bones. And when we widen the sit bones, we feel more grounded, right? More of us is connected to the earth. And then we'll sit up nice and tall. And we're going to start with a hand gesture today. So in yoga, hand gestures are called mudras, and this is called the mudra of no fear, the Abhaya mudra. We're going to take our right hand and just place it out in front of us. And then your left hand can either be over your heart or over your belly or down in your lap. You can even do like a palm up here. So whatever feels comfortable for you, I like it over my heart. And then we're going to close our eyes and take a few moments here. Just connecting to the sound of your breath. Maybe connecting to your heartbeat. This is also a gesture of peace. So when we are at peace with ourselves, we have less fear. So take a few more breaths here, maybe even just tapping into what your own level of fear has been lately and how has that been manifesting in your body, in your mind, in your habits. Let's take about 3 more breaths there. I'm just going to share a little quote out before we release. When I walk into my fear, practice there, sit upright in the middle of it, completely open to the experience, with no expectation of outcome. Anything is possible. It's by Judith Randall from The Hidden Lamp. All right, so go ahead and release that no fear mudra. Let your hands come back down. And we'll just take a moment to roll the shoulders out a little bit. So when we're in fear, we tend to close off into our chest and our shoulders round forward. So just loosen them up a little bit. And then we're going to take the hands behind us and interlace the hands. Try not to lock out your elbows. So keep a little bend in the elbows. And then pull your hands apart as if you were trying to stretch them apart, but you're not going to let go. And as you pull your hands apart, just kind of noticing how that helps open up our chest and maybe even into our upper back. One more breath. And then from here, release that, maybe shake it out a little bit, and then we're going to bring the hands onto the floor behind us. And just lift your chest up into a little baby back bend. Open the shoulders, lift the chest. Try not to drop your head, but keep your head a little bit supported, but lengthen back. Good, and then slowly release, coming back up. And turn our music up. And then from here, bound angle. So soles of the feet together. So we're going to be doing some warrior poses that require us to have a little openness in our hips. So let's just sit up tall. If you want, you could draw your toes apart, opening up into your feet a little bit more, activating the arches of your feet. Keep the sit bones grounding down. And then we'll imagine there are two strings around our knees. And those strings are pulling the knees apart. In this pose, we never want to force the knees down, but if we pull apart, it actually opens the hips and draws the legs down a little bit more. So let's do that for 2 more breaths. You should feel some work here in the legs, or you might feel some work in the legs. Another breath. And then release. Draw those legs back up and straighten them out for a moment. Flex your feet. We're in staff pose. Ground your thighs into the floor. Sit up as tall as you can. Inhale, reach your arms up. We're going to make fists with our hands and then pull down like you're doing a pull-up. And just kind of feel that strength in your arms and shoulders. Inhale up. Exhale, slow motion, pull down. One more time, inhale up. And exhale, pull down. So we'll be using that gesture quite a bit in our practice today. Go ahead and release. One more time, roll your shoulder heads out. All right. So from here, we're going to come into tabletop pose, all fours. So if you are on a hard surface, feel free to put your blanket under your knees. I already have a carpet, so I'm good. And let's do a few cycles of cat-cow. So we're going to inhale in neutral, and as you exhale, rounding your spine. Press your shins down, your feet down, your palms down, lift your abdomen. And then really keep a nice length in your arms here, like height. And then we're going to come into the inhale. So try not to drop into your arms. And then exhale, round again. Push down. And then reverse. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, round. One more time. From here, come into a neutral position for a moment. If you need a break off your hands, take a brief child's pose. Otherwise, you could stay in your tabletop. And then from here, we'll take the right arm forward and the left leg back as you inhale. And as you exhale, we're going to bring the elbow and the knee towards each other to touch. 2 more like this. Inhale, exhale. Now do that 2 more times, concentrating on pulling your navel in, activating your core. So core is a relationship to our fear. We feel collapsed in our core. We're not going to feel very empowered. So we're going to try to activate those core muscles every time we draw in. Navel draws towards your spine. Good, now this next time, let's try to hold it. So draw in, elbow to knee, squeeze in, hold, and release. Again, if you need a brief child's pose, you know you can come back and take one at any time. I'm going to just continue here. So now left arm, right leg. Inhale, extend, exhale, elbow to knee, squeeze in. And repeat a few more cycles. Squeeze the belly. One more time, and then this next time we're going to hold it for an extra pause. Squeeze in. And release. All right, from here, let's all take a child's pose now and rest down for a moment. All right, coming back up through our tabletop position. Take your hands forward just a few inches. Press down firmly into your arms. Hands are turned out a hair. Hips draw back and lift up into a down dog. And this is just a transition. So we're going to bend the knees a little bit. Walk your hands back to your feet. And then we're going to really press down into our feet and our heels. Bring your hands to your hips. Extend through your chest and your spine, and then slowly rise back up. And I'll come to face forward. Okay, so standing in mountain pose, which in itself can be a really empowering pose. So we're going to stand with our feet about hips distance or even a little closer if you don't feel too wobbly. Engage your legs. Lift your belly. Draw your tailbone down. And really reach through your fingertips, through your arms. Extend through the crown of your head. And just feel really strong and really powerful in this pose. Now inhale, circle the arms out to the sides and overhead. And as you exhale, we're going to do that pull down. Good. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, pull down. One more time. Now we're going to add in a bend of our knees coming into chair pose. So we'll bend the knees and then pull down. Good. Inhale, straighten the arms, straighten the legs. Exhale, pull down. And we want to try and keep weight in our heels. Our hips are moving back, so we're not rounding our spine too much here. So let's try that 2 more. Big inhale, exhale, pull down. Feel that strength in your arms. Good. Now we're going to hold our chair pose with this arm position. Draw your belly in. See if you can sink a little lower. One more breath. Now I tricked you a little. It was one more breath like this. Now we're going to extend our arms. Feel that burn in the legs. Hold here. Now we've got one more breath. Good. And then rise to stand and release your arms. So in Sanskrit, chair pose is called Utkatasana. Utkatasana. And it means fierce posture. So it's a posture that is known to create that sense of empowerment. little bit fiery in the legs. And we feel strong when we're doing this posture. All right, we're going to add on and do some half sun salutations. And we're going to weave in that chair pose with the pull down. Here we go. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold. Little bend in your knees as you fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands up onto your thighs. Exhale, fold, touch down. And then inhale, bend your knees, chair pose. Exhale, pull down. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, arms at your sides. So we're going to do 2 more rounds just like that. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands up onto your thighs. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise up into chair pose. Knees are bent. Exhale, pull down. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, arms at your side. 1 more round. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, fold, slight bend. Inhale, lengthen, reach your chest forward. Exhale, fold, draw your belly toward your spine. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, pull down. Inhale, rise up. And exhale, arms at your side. Good. Roll those shoulders out a little bit, making sure we don't accumulate any tension in the shoulders. And then we're going to come into our first warrior position. So we're going to step the feet apart wide. How wide depends on your stability here. Generally 3 to 4 feet here. We want to make sure that we don't feel unstable. Hands on your hips. Lift your chest, draw your shoulders back a little bit. And now really root into your legs. Firm up your thighs. Lift your toes, spread them. Hold for another breath. This is just preparation. Good, now let those toes come back down. And I'm gonna try and mirror. Turn your whole right leg out to the right. So we're going to move from the top of our thigh so that our kneecap, our ankle, and our toes all line up. And then we're going to take our back foot and turn it a little bit. So I'm turning my left toes in just a bit, widening the heel. And then I'm going to bend my right knee. Good. From here, hands into your rib cage. Lift your rib cage and turn it to face forward. So you feel like your chest is squaring forward. And then we'll take the arms out to a T. From here, turn your palms up, and that'll help you open your chest and open your shoulders. Keep that and just turn your palms back down. Now look over your right fingertips. Stretch out long through the arms, root into your legs, feel the strength in your legs. 1 more breath, press down and even apart with your feet, creating more strength, more grounding. And then from here, reverse warrior. Right palm up, left palm either behind your back or down your leg. So here's a shoulder wrap. This is a little more gentle. Take it to reverse. Good. Inhale back up. And we're going to straighten that leg. As you exhale, re-bend, maybe a little deeper. We're going to keep the left thigh rooting back. So you feel more grounded into that left heel. 1 more time, a reverse warrior. And then back up to our warrior 2. Good, straighten that leg, parallel your feet, bring your hands onto your hips, and hold here for a moment. Inhale, and exhale. Let's try the other side. Turn your whole left leg out from the root of your thigh. Turn your right toes in a little bit. Bend that knee. Hands onto your rib cage, lift and turn your rib cage. So you're squaring forward and then arms out. Want to have those arms about shoulder height. And then flip the palms, open the shoulders, take those shoulder heads back. And then just turn your palms. So not your whole shoulder and arm, just your palms. Look over your left fingers. Press down and apart with your feet. Aim your tailbone down and keep your belly lifting up, your low belly to support. One more breath here. Now your reverse warrior, your choice of hand position on your thigh or wrap it around. Turn your left palm up and reach to the back. Good. Inhale, back up, release your arms. Straighten your front leg. Keep that back thigh back, keep that heel grounded, and then rebend. Press down and apart with your feet. One more time to reverse warrior. This is sometimes called peaceful warrior. So no fear, peaceful. Good, and then come back to your warrior two. Straighten that leg, parallel your feet, bring your hands to your hips, and then step it in and shake it out a little bit. Okay, so that's warrior one. We're gonna do all three warriors today. Next, I'm sorry, that was warrior two. I'm not doing them in order because that one's a little bit easier on the hips. This next one can be a challenge on our lower back. So really important to keep our belly lifting as we do warrior one. So we're gonna start facing the short edge of your mat. Stand toward the back of your mat. And we're gonna take a big step forward with your right foot. Spin your back heel down on an angle, and then we're going to bend into this front knee. So this is warrior one position. I'm going to square my chest forward. Now my hips are not completely square here because this leg is back farther, right? But my chest and my ribs can square forward. Tendency here is to let this belly dip, okay? Instead, I want you to lift it up strongly. Lift your hip points up and feel the back leg engage more, your back glute, your back hip. Aim your tailbone more down. Good. Now keeping that chest square and straight ahead, turn your palms forward. When you turn your palms forward, you'll notice your collarbones open. Now take the arms up and overhead. Good. Inhale here, reach higher. Exhale, let's try to pull down. Two more like that. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, pull down. One more time. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, pull down. Now you can hold here or take a little back bend. Lean back. If that feels unstable, stay vertical. Good. Inhale, reach the arms back up. Bring your hands to your hips and step out of the pose. Shake it out a little bit. All right, let's try the other side. Standing at the back of your mat, big step forward with your left foot. Spin your back heel down on an angle and then turn your chest straight ahead. So here's another tip for this pose. If you feel wobbly, widen your front foot a little bit more to the left. So sometimes if we're too close in, we'll feel like we're on a tightrope. So adjust for your body. So if we have a wider pelvis, it's going to feel a little better to have those legs a little wider. Now strongly, lift the belly, lift the hip points up, and draw your tailbone down. Bend a little deeper into your front knee, and then palms turn it open. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, pull down. Feel that strength in your arms. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, pull down. One more time. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, pull down. Hold it, maybe a little back bend. Good. Inhale, arms up. And then hands to your hips. Step out of the pose and shake it out. So it's a big demand on the legs. Give yourself a moment. Stand in mountain pose. Okay, so we did second warrior. We did first warrior. Next one is warrior 3. Warrior 3 is a balancing posture. So here's where we're going to use our blocks. You can also use a chair. If you don't have blocks, you can put your hands on a chair, a stack of books, a couple of tin cans, whatever works for you at home. Grab what you need. You can always stop the video if you don't have something. So we're going to be standing on one leg. I'm going to talk you through it. We're going to bring our hands down to blocks. Now, I'm pretty short. You guys know that, right? So those of you who are taller, and this is hard to get down, you could bring this up higher, right? So feel free to stack up another set of blocks or put something underneath, a book or two under your blocks, so that you feel your chest is kind of parallel to the floor. And then we're going to root down into our palms, keep our chest lifted, and pull back a little with the hands. Isometrically pulling back with the hands helps keep the shoulders away from the ears here. Okay, rooting into your feet, tone your belly, and then we're going to lift the right foot up, squeeze that heel in, just like we did in our hamstring strengthening practice. Now lift your thigh up. My knee is still bent. That keeps my hamstring activated, so that when I straighten my leg with control, that hamstring is actually helping to support me. And I can have a slight bend in that standing leg. To straighten that leg, I want to firm up the thigh, not lock the knee, and then reach your chest forward. Those of you who are feeling pretty stable, reach your opposite arm forward. And then release, hand down, foot down. Take a breath. Let's come up to stand for a moment. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, pull down, take a little back bend. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, arms at your side. Okay. Let's try the other side. Hands down. Root down into your hands. Pull the shoulders back. And then lift your left foot. Keep the legs drawing towards each other. Lift your thigh a little higher. Keep the hamstring activated as you start to straighten that leg. Firm up the front of your standing leg. So your quadricep is engaged. Reach your chest forward. Maybe reach your right arm forward. Hold another breath. And then release. Both feet down. Bend your knees a little bit. Come up to stand. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, pull down. Good. And then release. Take a moment. So there's a little story about those 3 warrior poses that can relate a little bit to our fear. So warrior 1 pose, this pose, is said to be the presentation of our weapon. So we're reaching our sword up over our heads. So we're presenting our weapon. Warrior 2, we open up, said to represent cutting the head off of our enemy, right? And so I know that sounds gruesome, but in these stories, the head often represents our ego. And our ego is often was related to our fear. So it's like cutting that off, right? And then we come into warrior 3. And warrior 3, you don't have to do this, I'm just doing a quick demonstration. We're gonna present that head our leader, in this case, our highest self, our wisdom body. So presenting that ego to our highest self, resulting in wisdom. When we're in that place of wisdom, we're often not in that place of fear. So let's try to put those 3 warrior poses together in a flow. So we will stand at the back of our mat. And I'm going to start on my left leg because I want to mirror you. But you start with your right leg. Okay, hands on your hips. Big step forward with your right foot. Spin your back heel down. Present your weapon. Warrior 1. Inhale here. Exhale, open up to warrior 2. You'll need to adjust your feet a little bit. Off with its head. Inhale up and off with its head. All right, so now that we've got that ego, we're going to present it to our highest self. Spin forward into a lunge. So I'm on the ball of my back foot, and I'm going to take that head, that ego in my hands, and present it to my highest self. Now, if this is hard for you, go back to the blocks. Otherwise, reach those arms forward. You can always keep your toe on the floor for balance, and then step back. All right, and then come out of that. Let's try it on the other side. Come to the back of your mat. Big step forward, left foot. Spin the back heel down. Inhale, raise your weapon up. Exhale, open up, off with its head, warrior 2. Spin around to the front, coming onto the ball of your back foot, and then present that ego to your highest self. The highest self will know what to do, and then go ahead and release, stand up, and shake it out. Okay, let me come back to facing forward for you. Standing in mountain pose. Arms at your side, collect your breath. One more. All right, we're going to learn another hand position, another mudra. This one is called the courageous heart. So for courageous heart, we're going to cross our wrists. I'm going to come a little closer so you can see. I'm going to hook my pinky fingers, and then I'm going to hook my ring fingers, hook my middle fingers, and then I'm going to bring my thumb and my index fingers to touch. Okay, show you that again. Cross, hook the pinkies, ring, middle, and then hook, and bring that in front of your heart. All right, so standing here, courageous heart mudra. Helps open our chest, keep your shoulders back. Now we're going to try our tree pose while we're holding courageous heart mudra. So standing on your right leg, bring your left heel up above your ankle. We'll start in a kickstand. Firm your hips, firm your belly. Press the heel and leg into each other. You can stay here, or you could pick that foot up off the ground, finding your balance. Keep lifting your low belly and anchoring your tailbone. If you want, you can raise that courageous heart mudra up overhead. Now, if any of this is too much, just do palms together, prayer position, that's fine. Reach high through those arms and root through the standing leg. And then we'll bring the knee forward, release the arms, and then let go. Shake it out. We're going to do that again, flipping the grip. So before I had my left arm in front, now I'm going to have my right arm in front. It's going to feel a little funky. Let's see if we can hook those fingers. Whoop. There we go. If that's too much for you, go back to where you were before. And then we'll stand on the left leg, come into our kickstand. Squeeze the hips, squeeze the belly. You can always stay there or pick the foot up. Shoulders back. Reach that mudra up overhead. Holding another breath, nice and steady. And then release, knee down, arms down, and shake it out. Good. Widen your feet a little wider than your hips, generous hips distance or wider. And then inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, pull down, feel that strength. Inhale the arms up, and then we're going to fold forward. Have a bend in your knees as you fold. Holding opposite elbows. Let your body drape over your legs. Now, if this is challenging on your hamstrings and your low back, do bend your knees. But keep tipping your sit bones up and extending through your chest. Switch your arms, opposite arm on the bottom. One more breath. And then let the arms go deep into the knees, roll up. Push the floor away from you with your feet. Coming up slowly, head comes up last, and roll your shoulders out. Okay, all right. Come to standing mountain pose at the top of your mat. I'm going to face to the side. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Blocks can move. We're going to step back to plank pose. So plank pose can be a pose of empowerment too, working on our core strength. Push into the floor. You can always drop to your knees. I'll show that. Keep your chest reaching forward. Tone your belly. One more breath. And then we're going to slowly lower all the way down, coming onto your abdomen. We're going to do a couple of locust poses which strengthen our back. This is really important for our fear response because we tend to round our backs and our back muscles get weak and we get tighter in the front of our chest. We're going to add our pull down motion to this pose. So arms are going to be out in front of you. Stretch your legs back one at a time so you feel length in your lower back, and then tone your low belly. As you inhale, we're going to just lift the arms and exhale down. Keep your feet planted, feel all of your toes pressing down. Engage your legs, lift your kneecaps. Inhale, lift up. This time, exhale, pull down, squeeze those shoulder blades. Inhale, extend, exhale, down and rest. Stack your palms, give your hips a little wiggle. And we're going to repeat that. You can stick with what we just did, or you can lift your legs off the ground. So, inhale, lift arms, lift legs. Squeeze the legs together. Exhale down. Now try your best not to look up at me. Keep the back of your neck long. Let's add the pull down. Stretch long through arms and legs. Engage your low belly. Inhale, lift up. Squeeze the legs. Exhale, pull down. Inhale, extend. Exhale, and rest. Breathe here. Let's do one more round. Stretch out long, your choice whether or not you lift the legs. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, pull down. Inhale, extend. Exhale, and release. Wiggle your hips to release your back, and then we'll windshield wiper. Side to side, pick your feet up, just to release any tension in your back. And then release. Press to tabletop pose, all fours. In your tabletop pose, circle your hips, tension after those locust postures. Other direction. And then we'll take a child's pose. Knees wide. Big toes touch. Move your hips back. And either stack up your palms or reach your arms forward. You can also put a block underneath your forehead. I'm going to ask you guys to stay there for 5 cycles of breath. Letting your body relax. Let's see where we're at. Right. So from here, we're going to come back to a seated posture. If you wish, you could sit up onto your blanket. Hold on 1 second. My battery. Okay, feet together, knees apart, lift your chest. Just like we did before. Extend out through your inner knees. From here, we're going to hinge forward if you like. Now, if that just causes you to be really rounded and uncomfortable in your spine, I'd rather have you stay here. Otherwise, if you can, folding forward, you could clasp your hands around your toes. We might massage into those kidney points a little bit. So finding the ball of the foot, the center of the balls of the feet. This is the acupressure point associated with fear. We have a bunch of them along the kidney lines. Our kidneys are associated with fear in Chinese medicine. If you are pregnant, I would advise not doing acupressure points, so just skip those and just do the down ankle pose. And then eventually you can either stay upright or fold in. And as you fold in, bring the breath into your back, into the back ribs, the area of our kidneys. And our adrenals, so adrenals take a hit too when we're in the place of fear, sending out those stress hormones to help us prepare for that fight or flight. Slowly starting to come up, and then we'll draw the knees up and extend the legs out for a moment. So we'll come into a cross-leg position. Feel free to sit up on something if you haven't. A couple of finishing things here. So we're going to continue to work that kidney meridian by tapping. You're going to find your inner collarbone and go right below the collarbone. There's a little indentation, and we're going to tap there. So again, this is along the line of the kidney meridian, which is associated with fear. And then we're going to tap down a little lower in that same line. And then a little lower, tap. Now, if there's tenderness, there might be stagnant energy in this particular meridian. All right, go ahead and release that. Take a few breaths. We're going to do one more thing here. So this is a hand position where we're going to hold our forehead and the back of our head. So you want your pinky finger lining up with your brow, and then the back of your hand lining up with your occipital ridge. And we're just going to close our eyes and hold these 2 points. And I'd like you to just breathe here. So this brings a little bit of energy and awareness into the front brain, which takes us out of that fear brain, that amygdala. And whenever we have our hands together like this on our body, it sort of creates a circuit of energy. Now, as you hold here, this could be very calming and comforting. Notice if you feel any pulsations in your hands. Keep that going for a little bit. Just nice, slow, deep breaths. You might even focus on your kind of internal experience of fear or a particular issue that brings up fear for you, and see if you can allow it to calm as you hold those hands in place. So this technique diffuses some of those so-called negative emotions, helps us process our emotional experience, and balances the hemispheres of the brain. So let's take 3 more breaths. See if you can feel any pulsation of energy in your hands or in your head. Let it just be soothing and calming. After that 3rd breath, we're going to slowly release the hands from those points and pause for a moment, letting the shoulders drop, let the face relax. Right. We're going to make our way onto our backs now. So grab whatever you might want for your shavasana. If you have particular favorite props, it would be nice to have something rolled up under your knees or a blanket under your head. We're going to come down onto our backs and just give the knees a little hug into the chest. Rock a little bit side to side. Massage out any strain in your lower back from that practice. So we did all those warrior poses and tree pose. So just massage it out. And then hands on the tops of your knees. Circle your knees away from each other. And again, just to help relax your lower back. And then reverse it, go the other direction. Hug in, and then let the feet come to the floor. We're going to take the arms out to a T, offset the hips to the right, and then bring the knees up and over to the left. Now, if there's any strain here, grab a block, put it between your knees for support, or under your knees so that there's not as much strain here in the back. I like to use that hand to pin the legs down a bit, and then I'm going to look over the right shoulder, the opposite shoulder. Let's take a few breaths here, relaxing the arms, relaxing the face and the jaw. Take an inhale, and as we exhale, come back to the center and even yourself out. We'll try the other side. Offset your hips to the left, bring your knees in, over to the right. Maybe your right hand pins those legs down. Look over your left shoulder. Breathing here. Take an inhale, exhale back to the center, even yourself out. Bring those knees to the chest one more time, and then we'll take a happy baby. You could hold your feet, but if that makes you round in your back to get there, hold ankles or hold legs. Whatever helps you stay a little more relaxed in your shoulders. So I'm going to hold feet, but you can do what you wish. Rock a little bit or stay still, your choice. And if you don't like a happy baby, just hug your knees to your chest. And we'll bring those knees back in. One more squeeze. We're going to inhale, exhale, lift your head, chest, and shoulders, squeeze into a little ball. And then relax. Making yourself ready for Shavasana. We're going to stretch one leg at a time out. And we did a lot of leg work, so just shake them out. Shake those legs out, bounce them out, loosen up the low back. Support if you need under your legs, under your head, over your body. Just make sure you feel calm, grounded, safe, and comfortable. I'm going to ask you to stay in your Shavasana. I'm going to come up in a moment and guide you through a little awareness practice as you rest. I'm going to slow down the music. So take a moment to truly land in your Shavasana. Know that in this moment you are safe. There is nothing to fear. So with every breath, every exhale, let go a little more into the ground. We hold fear in different areas of our bodies. We're going to address 3 of those areas in this guided practice. So we're going to start with the root chakra. So the area of the base of your spine, your tailbone. This is the area of the body that is associated with security, personal safety. It can be affected if we've been harmed physically, affected by natural disasters, relates to our personal financial security. So as you breathe, imagine bringing the breath all the way down to the base of your spine. And then exhale back up to the crown of your head. Release feelings of threat or harm. Let go and feel free to be open. Replace feelings of fear with one of empowerment, feeling safe, grounded, strong in your own center. And now we'll bring our awareness to the heart space. So when we're in fear, our heart tends to pull back, our belly tends to pull back and drop into our core. So our heart, we hold fear of abandonment, of not being worthy or lovable, feelings of rejection. As you breathe into your heart space now, replace those feelings of fear with compassion for yourself, having an open heart, a courageous heart, like our courageous heart mudra, wide open in the heart. Invite the feeling of fearlessness into your heart. Just breathe here in the heart space for a few more rounds. Softening the tissue around the heart. Any sense of constriction or tightness, let it go. Wide open in the heart. And then we'll bring our awareness to the center of our brow, third eye point. Imagine bringing the breath into the third eye. Here we hold our fear of the unknown. What will happen in the future? This is when we cling to the familiar and disconnect from spirit. Invite fearlessness into this area, knowing that the unknown is often filled with gifts if we allow it. The mysteries in life can bring us treasures. So we're all facing a lot of fear of the unknown right now. So just breathe into this area of the third eye, wide open, fearless, facing the unknown. And now as you inhale, breathing from that third eye all the way down to the root. And then back up to that third eye. Try that a few times, feeling powerful, fearless. Letting go of accumulated tension, anxiety. Feeling safe here to let go. Take a few more moments just to rest. Now, if you would like to stay longer in your Shavasana, that is always your option. You don't have to come up and come out at this moment. If you are ready to go on with your day, we're a little over an hour, you can start to gently reawaken by deepening your breath, wiggling fingers and toes. And eventually maybe bringing in bigger movements, stretching it out, hugging your knees. Taking all the time you need before rolling over onto your right side. And then once you roll to your right side, have a pause there, a little moment to transition back into the rest of your day. When you feel ready, you can come up to a comfortable seat. If you're staying in Shavasana, feel free to stay there as we close out. One more time, we're going to come into our fearless mudra. Right hand forward. Close your eyes. Know that through these practices today, you brought yourself a sense of empowerment so that we can better deal with the fears that come up. Feeling a sense of peace even in this time of fear and uncertainty. And then from here, we'll gather both hands together in front of your heart space. Feeling again that sense of peace in your heart. Sense of groundedness and safety in your root. Openness in the area of the brow center. On your next inhale, let the heart lift, and exhale, bow your head to meet your heart. hope that you enjoyed practice today, that you feel empowered, and I look forward to practicing with you again next time. Have a great day. Thank you so much.